Hey everyone, it's Argonath here from Return of the Fan, and got some more information about the Eternals reviews which are flowing in. So again, we're going back to Rotten Tomatoes. Again, don't take Rotten Tomatoes as anything as gospel because it has a lot of kind of biased critics on that particular website. But it's good to get a gauge, and then once we can get an audience score, then we'll get a better idea as to how normal people think of it. But if the critics aren't really liking it, it's going to be actually a lot worse than what it normally is because critics tend to be quite nice to Disney, right? Um, so, even if for a Marvel movie, they tend to write good reviews for them because they want to stay in Disney's good books. Just look at the reviews for Shang-Chi, which did okay, but it wasn't the amazing movie that all the reviewers made it out to be. So if you look at the Tomatometer, it's 60% fresh, which means that 60% of reviews gave it a 6 out of 10 or better. But more interestingly, if you click on it and go to the average rating, the average rating is 6 out of 10, which is pretty bad for a Marvel movie, right? 6 out of 10 is pretty rubbish, right? You should be at closer to 8, 9, or 10 out of 10. So 6 out of 10 is pretty rubbish. And if we're getting it from the critics, then the audience score is going to be a lot less than 6 out of 10. I can just see that. But it's really interesting to have a look at some of the reviews. But if we contrast the very early reviews compared to the reviews coming out now, we can see what we mean by the early access reviewers being biased towards the company because they need to keep writing good stuff about the movie to be able to get more early access to future films. And so we're going to look at this and have a look at what some of the people are saying from their reviews, which is very interesting. So if we go into click on 119 reviews, will take us into that. So we're going to do all critics. It's sorted by date. So if we go all the way to the very beginning when they first started rolling out, so here we go. So all of these ones will have been at some sort of premiere for the reviewers. Right? You can bet your bottom dollar they've been to some sort of premiere to be able to see it early, right? But just look at all of these reviews. 7 out of 10, 5 out of 5, so 100%, 4 out of 5, 3 out of 5, 7 out of 10, 6.5 out of 10, so this one's a bit lower. 4 out of 5, this one didn't give a number. 3 out of 5, this one didn't give a number. So this person gave it a C+, so that's a bit refreshing there. And we can see still on the 24th, still a lot of fresh reviews. So all of these people saying it's a good movie, more than 6 out of 10. So if we go back one page, let's have a read of some of the comments first, right? Setting aside whatever faults I found, Eternals is decidedly different and more conceptually interesting than most MCU entries. So it's good because it's different. That's it, basically. Unlike everything I've ever seen in the MCU before, the story is dense but allowed to breathe, visually stunning, an epic action and emotional story. A perfect introduction to new heroes. A glowing review, 5 out of 10. It's a perfect movie. There's nothing absolutely wrong with it at all to be able to give it a 5 out of 5. Right, a lot of these people are saying the same sorts of things. The movie's different from anything else that Marvel has done before. Right, you can just see it that they've been given these talking points that they need to put into their reviews. Here's another one. While Eternals has most of the benchmarks of a Marvel movie, Zhao's sprawling superhero epic is unlike anything the MCU has produced before. Again, and I've said it again. Director Chloe Zhao entry into the superhero world is assured, ambitious, and told on a Disney cosmic scale, but even it can't escape the cliches of superhero storytelling. So that one didn't mention that's much different than anything else. Eternals is beautifully shot and terrifically acted, but it bites off more than it can chew in its third act. It's impressive and mythic and wild and dazzling, yet it feels strangely diluted. Chloe Zhao gives the MCU just the kick in the pants it needs at this phase in the evolution. After so many Marvel movies that give lip service to thornier ramifications of its hero narratives, here's an earnestness to the operatic stakes in Eternals that somehow helps fuse what's physically spectacular and philosophical about it. Of course, we all go to Marvel movies to learn about the intricacies of philosophy about the universe. A mishmash of well-meaning yet jarringly verbose and bafflingly incoherent nonsense, which is only just about saved by half-decent performance. You gave this a 3 out of 5, and look at the beginning of your review. What? This should be more like a 1 or a 2 out of 5, surely. Eternals, while too long, is a squarely fun and gratifying watch. So these are a couple of ones which didn't like it very much. Can't these movies do anything else? Is it too much to ask the most dominant kind of cinema on the planet to shake things up and challenge itself in a more significant way? That's really weird. So all these people down here are saying it's different to anything else we've ever seen in the MCU before, and this person is saying, oh, it's pretty much the same thing. So who's right? I don't know. I guess we'll have to see. Eternals is visually elegant thanks to Zhao's creative sensibilities, but such a narrative undertaking does get the better of the filmmaker in more than a handful of instances. So they're all going about, oh, it's visually beautiful because of Chloe Zhao's directorial skills. Using Zhao's penchant for naturalistic environments, Eternals looks unlike any other Marvel movie and is perhaps the most welcoming for the MCU neophytes. For some, there's no spaces in is perhaps. Eternals certainly doesn't lack for ambition. For now, Marvel, emboldened by its success, has reached for the stars without quite getting there. So even though they've given these fresh tomato ratings, they're all saying it doesn't really match what Marvel is going for. Zhao delivers a unique, evocative, extraordinary epic. So unique, something that's different from anything that has gone before. We can see that this talking point is coming through, right? You can bet your bottom dollar that the studios give these early access critics talking points to talk about in their reviews, because it comes through in so much of them that they're quite similar to each other. The depth of feeling helps counter the choppy storytelling in this new tangent in the MCU narratives. A new tangent, different tangent, right? They're all going on this difference thing. While not without messiness and over-plotting that bogs down and overcomplicates the narrative, Eternals succeeds as a vast, unrepentantly serious bit of world building with a moral quandary at its centre. Chloe Zhao's intimate style gives the movie a more mature feel, but it doesn't affect the story enough to make it a different Marvel movie. So that's weird. So this person's saying it's not really that different to other Marvel movies, right? So now we start to get some which aren't as nice as the earlier ones. So but we can see right at the very beginning, all of these ones right at the beginning, all fresh tomatoes, right? All good scores, because these will be people that went to the premieres, got a little tote bag when they went to it, so that they could write a nice review for Disney. But now, if we go to the beginning, the ones that have come up recently, we get a lot more ones which are giving bad reviews for this particular movie. So where Kubrick and Clarke took seriously the idea that human evolution may be prompted by alien intersection, Eternals makes the whole thing part of some gargantuan intergalactic eugenics experiment wrapped in pop philosophy and popcorn authoritarianism. Eternals is deeply emotional and alters the Marvel formula we know, which some will love and some will hate. So there we go. Again, it's different from any other Marvel movie. It is entertaining and mostly fast-paced, but until the interminable bombastic finale that goes on for many minutes longer than it should, and will please the MCU fans. I assume that should be. Representation should be the headline grabber for Eternals, but instead the conversation around the film will likely focus on how much of a disappointment it is. Of course, because that's what it's about. The movie's not about to talk about representation. Representation should not matter at all in a movie. We shouldn't be talking about representation, because we should be talking about the movie. That's the whole point, Bernard Boo from Pop Matters. The star-studded Supergod origin story is all bland fight sequences, cold flashbacks, and blank faces talking in stunning vistas. Love that one. The ambiguity, the attention to a person's capacity for contradiction and change, that sets Zhao's MCU debut apart. It's different from any other Marvel MCU movie. This sounds kind of fun, and I wish it were, but with the exception of Kumail Nanjiani, who offers without question the only real reason to see this movie, the story takes itself far too seriously for fun or really even logic. So that's why we go to an MCU movie, to have fun, right? To see some action, have fun, get a good story out of it, have some well acted characters. That's what we're looking for. We're not looking for a bloody war documentary or something. Eternals ventures into existential questions with welcome results for the MCU. However, it shines more when the characters are a unit and not on their own side quests. There's 10 of them, right? There's 10 characters that they have to give enough time to. It's just ridiculous. A particular dud, and Marvel's worst in years. The mythology is ridiculous, the cast overstuffed, and the action unimpressive. Ooh, that's pretty bad. Tropes be damned. Zhao carves out unexpectedly human immortals who actually care about each other. They love and hate and fight and forgive and feud and feel together. It's a refreshingly emotional take. No, I don't think that will really pull me into watching it. This is the first post-Endgame entry that I can happily call a great movie while seeing the franchise finally evolve into maturity and take bold risks in its storytelling. No, I can't agree with you there. If Eternals is stuck to the multi-million-dollar blueprint, it could have been one of the more fascinating MCU entries instead of the most disappointing effort to date. Right, it goes on and on and on. I think we get the idea. So we can see the real difference between the very early reviews, which are early access reviews, to some of the later ones who are not reliant on getting early access to a movie or anything. So we can see that there's quite a bit of difference. And if these woke critics are saying these things about the movie, it's going to be doubly bad for a normal person who goes to see it and is not worried about all the woke representation crap like that. They're just interested in it for seeing a good Marvel MCU movie. So yeah, it'd be very interesting to see when we get the audience reviews. I'd be really interested to see what the audience say, because I think they give a much better idea as to how a normal person, a normie MCU fan, will take it. Anyway, let me know what you think. Are you a little bit worried with the reviews coming through? Are you an Eternals fan? Are you a fan of the comics or something maybe? Let me know what you think. If you like this video, give it a thumbs up. If you don't like the video, you're welcome to give it a thumbs down. And if you like my content, then please subscribe, as it just helps my content to be noticed by the YouTube algorithm. Anyway, hopefully I'll catch you in the next video.